We've heard a lot about Poland and its beautiful, sometimes untouched landscapes. But we'd never been to this area before. And so, in June 2025, we set off in our motorhome to explore northern and northeastern Poland. Tonight we spent the night in Heilsberg. In the morning, we drive the short distance to Morag and park our motorhome in front of the castle. The Dohna Castle, largely destroyed in World War II, was restored by 1986. Johann Gottfried Herder was born here in 1714. The castle houses a museum in his honor. One wing of the 14th century Teutonic Castle of Mohrungen, a partially heavily altered but very dilapidated castle, has survived. The core of the parish church of St. Peter and Paul, Protestant until 1945, dates back to the first half of the 14th century. A bust of Johann Gottfried Herder stands between the church and the kindergarten. The tour is manageable. We cross the main street and find ourselves in front of the Gothic town hall, whose war damage was repaired in 1954.
Ja, der Pavel Wojtyla, der steht auch überall hier in Polen.
A little way away from these historical sites stands a 25-meter high old water tower from 1906, which was in use until the 1950s. We continue to the Oberland Canal. It flows north-south and is a waterway for small boats. The canal was built around 1850 and connects several lakes, providing access to the Baltic Sea and the Vistula Lagoon. We drive to the special feature and current tourist attraction, the so-called Rollbergen, rolling hills, on which the ships are transported over land on rail cars to overcome the 99-meter difference in altitude. They are designed as funiculars powered by water wheels. We stand at the edge of the tracks as the engineer sets the gears in motion in the engine room as if by remote control. We then admire how, meter by meter, the dry docks on wheels, as seen here, pull small recreational boats up the canal. Once at the top, the dock disappears back into the water, and the boats are given water again to exit the lock. The same thing works with a pleasure boat. Many passengers board the boat specifically for this attraction, to go down the lock and then back up again. The whole process takes about an hour and a half. Meanwhile, it has become terribly humid, and we drive to nearby Elbląg, which lies on the river of the same name. Despite the risk of a thunderstorm, we venture for a walk through the town, which bears the German name Elbląg. We mentally follow the signs of the individual streets and, in doing so, also trace the historical references of this town. In 1237, the Teutonic Order, under Landmeister Hermann von Balck, built a fortress near Lake Drosensee. The town was founded in 1237 as Elbląg under the protection of the Teutonic Order by craftsmen and merchants from Lübeck. Initially, a settlement with a grid-like street network was laid out. The center formed what would later become the Old Market. In 1440, Elbląg was one of the founding members of the Hanseatic League. We pass several very well-preserved or reconstructed townhouses with Gothic, Renaissance, and Baroque ornamentation, built between the 14th and 17th centuries. Here we enter the Gothic Basilica of St. Nicholas. The most valuable parts of the interior include the wooden figures of the apostles in the altarpiece, a large Gothic sculpture of St. Nicholas, and late Gothic altars transferred from other churches in Elbląg. We only see the Gothic granary from afar. The end of the main street is occupied by the Gothic market gate from the 13th century. The old town hall, however, is postmodern. We just managed to get into the motorhome before the heavy rain starts. For the next 50 kilometers to the coast, we are lucky and drive on a highway. It took us a long time to find a place to park for the evening. It is located in the forest on the so-called Vistula Lagoon and is only 1.5 kilometers from the Russian border. A summary. The locks on the Oberland Canal are technically unique. We stood in amazement in front of the ships coming upstream. The streets with their gabled houses in the former Hanseatic city of Elbląg are a special gem. We were actually planning to take a boat across the lagoon to Freudenberg on the mainland tomorrow. But the changeable weather doesn't really invite that. At the last minute, we decided to go to Gdansk.